Hello everybody, just a quick update as to what's going on with Bitcoin. So what we're looking at now, to be honest with you, I do believe it is the local top. Now with every local top and technical analysis of that local top and spotting where it could be, does mean that there is likely to be FOMO trying to drive it even higher. Now personally, it does have the capacity to go higher. There's no reason to say that it won't go higher. However, at this very moment, it is looking very, very toppy. Now, we have just in the last hour or so broken out of this blue box territory, essentially printing a new high, which is all the way at 170 or so. It's a bit all over the place. There's an enormous amount of buying pressure right now, basically the FOMO. And when FOMO happens, it creates massive instability with the price action. As you can see, that wick that we drove up just in this this is the daily candle, so just this daily candle today doesn't look much, but that's basically a 4% move. I'm not saying that it's not going to go back up there. That happened very quickly. We'll go to a shorter term time frame, go to a 15-minute chart basically, and you can see the volatility is incredible. And let's just measure that dump that's basically only taken just an hour to create. That's a 3% dump, riding on the 200 exponential moving average on the 15-minute chart there. So a decent place for it to bounce from. This could, of course, bounce back up and create an even higher wick. This is deadly situation time at the moment, and what this is going to be doing to the altcoins will, unfortunately, when we look at the hourly chart here on the Bitcoin dominance, basically means that altcoins are going to get hurt. Doesn't matter which way Bitcoin goes, altcoins are going to get hurt in the short term, definitely. Now there will be opportunities to buy back on altcoins, but personally, when we're looking at Bitcoin right now, FOMO is beginning to ensue, and this could drive us all the way up to this new blue box territory that we've got up here, where we've just found a rejection from, starting from basically 16,224, ending at 17,176, and this basically comes into the weekly. If we have a look at the weekly, it's easier to see what happened here. So basically at the very top of the parabolic move, we burst, well, the first week basically was rejected from the top of that area, then we burst all the way through, finishing that FOMO cycle. Again, these wicks don't look big, but trust me, they are very large. If we were to break out of there, that basically ended up being a 15% move, and then as a result of that, FOMO, like I say, the FOMO breaks down, and what happened is there was a retracement. Why am I putting a blue box in there? Oh my dear days. And the FOMO basically broke down there, and that looks to me like it's roughly about a 40% move or thereabouts. We'll just measure that one out. 44% move, yeah. And then when we burst back up again into this blue box zone, rejection from that level there, back down again, and then finally up to test and printing it and creating a lower high, which essentially created an enormous downfall from that to that. That was a 63% move from that area there. So I'm not saying that this is going to repeat. This isn't the sort of thing that I'm suggesting. I'm not saying that these things are going to happen again all over again. But what I am saying is that when we're moving up so dramatically like this, there are very few levels now of resistance to go by. But when you look at the levels that we've moved so far, you know, just this is a weekly chart. So just I mean, obviously this week's relatively new, but in the last few weeks. Let's just measure it back from here. So this is going back to end of August, beginning of September. This one here, September the 7th. We have gone up 64% in a very short space of time. You know, just a couple of months. That's an enormous move. And now what would happen is that we're looking for FOMO in order for it to get printing new highs. Now this is the blue box zone that I would expect to see extreme resistance from, and if this breaks down, I mean if we break out of here, then yeah, all-time high or close to it is very likely. But then, you know, it has to come down at some point. You know, we can't just kid ourselves into thinking that this is moon. And the more you see people talk about moon, the more skeptical I become about the fact that there is a moon to be had. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. It's like I say, I'm not being bearish on this one, certainly not. But I am saying let's be careful. And for the record, I have personally taken quite a lot of profit now. And what I'm doing now at this point now is I'm just waiting this one out. Personally, I don't really want to get involved with areas like this because, first of all, if we look at them on a daily chart, we're above pretty much all major moving averages by quite a significant margin. The 10 exponential is beneath us, and let's measure it from the bottom to the top. That would be a 4% from where we are at this current price action. From the top where we've just launched, come down from, that would be a 6.5% area. This would be the area I would expect to see our first support from if we were to break down, and that area is basically 15,132. And if that falls and that breaks, then I would be looking for this Bollinger Band area around 14,300. Now, like again, like I say, this isn't bearish. I would much prefer it to come down, in all fairness, than to go continuing to go straight back up, because if we do go parabolic, it would likely mean a long period of consolidation, which would kind of ruin everything for many people. Periods of consolidation of that nature could take several months to play out. No, we don't want that. I mean, you can see what happened here. We consolidated for essentially a year, then we rose all the way up here, consolidated, I guess, for the best part of another year as well. Are we going to blow off our top here and then consolidate for another year? I really hope we're not going to be doing that kind of thing. I'd like to see a relatively healthy pullback and a bit of sideways action, to be honest, allow some of these oscillators and things to reset. The money flow index does have room to move, plenty of room to move in fact, and so does the RSI, in all fairness. So there is a very strong chance that we do move up. But when we look at the MACD, areas of this height have only been reached last year when we had this parabolic move up here, and we are at that level right now. So I think we are definitely reaching a top. I think that the pullback is going to be the bigger move, in all fairness. But so long as we're above this trend line here, everything is still good to go for the long-term bull market. But personally, there is a very strong chance that we do come down, and maybe even to test that level, which would bring us down about 18%, which isn't an enormous amount considering we've gone up about 60%, but it is a relatively large drop. So just be very careful out there. Anyway, it's your money, do what you want with it. For me personally, I'm kind of going to wait this one out. I've taken profits, and I'm just going to wait and see how we go and re-enter the market at a more appropriate position. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.